Good to be here. Very grateful to be here. That's our theme for November. It's typically a theme in most religious communities, spiritual communities in November is gratitude because of Thanksgiving. I've been going to these meetings for many years, and often the topic of these meetings is gratitude. And it's a good reminder to acknowledge the gifts, the fruits that we have already within ourselves. And it's a good time to just listen to others and the gifts that they're sharing as well. I appreciate that, the light shining moments, and to just listen and be present with others. This topic also has a deeper depth to me with my spiritual experiences and being grateful for knowing who I really am. For most of my childhood and adolescence, I did not know who I was, and it was very disturbing, and I was confused and scared, and still every once in a while I go back into that, but I don't forget anymore. I'm pretty certain that I'm a child of God, and that's what we hear at Unity. We embrace that and want everyone to remember they are children of God. And some Unity churches start out with that, and they speak that loudly, and we all get up and say that. I am a child of God. I am perfect and whole as I am. And so this is a good time to remember that that's what we really are, is children of God. And we don't need to add anything to our lives to accomplish that experience. We don't need to earn it. We don't need to do anything for it. That's just how we're created. Right now, we're sustained by the love of God. And that's the blessing. That's my Thanksgiving. Everything else is temporary, ultimately. All the gifts in the world, all the careers, the relationships here on earth, the food. I mean, it's good when you're there, the Thanksgiving meals, all the chocolate with Halloween, the candies. I love all that stuff. It's very tasteful and pleasurable, but it's temporary. So the gratitude that I experience is to remember who I really am and the love and the peace that's inside me all the time. So that never changes, no matter what's going on the external plane, whether that be something really horrifying, like last weekend at the church, at the synagogue. Horrible event. However, in that, you can still have gratitude, and this is how I can only justify gratitude for knowing who I am in those horrible situations. Traumatic situations is knowing that I am still a child of God. It's very difficult to find gratitude in anything else in the world there when you just look at everything going on. Like that I have this and they don't have that. Or I still have a family, they don't. That's not gratitude. To me, it's not gratitude. That actually, in the Course in Miracles perspective, is an attack. It's saying that I have something that you don't, which is not true because we're all children of God. We all have the same potential to be happy, joyous, and free as everyone else, as God sees us. So this is how the Course in Miracles sees gratitude. And I just wanted to clear that up a little bit. It is good to start off, to say, well, I'm grateful. Like, for instance, I was grateful that I had a place to live, clothes to put on myself, and food to eat. That's wonderful, but not at the expense of others because they don't have it. Okay? That's not gratitude. Gratitude is acknowledging who I am and sharing that with the world. At least that's how I experience it. And we're here to also celebrate that and encourage others to realize who they really are and that they're capable of creating the life that they want, but only from remembering who they are, only by remembering spirit and the peace that they are, and dwelling in that and listening to it at times when there's so much going on in your life. There's all the noise, there's the distractions, there's the pressures, the time constraints, the deadlines, the forms to fill out. This world's full of distractions. Okay? And you may say, well, I'm grateful I got a vacation this week. I don't have to deal with any of that other stuff, all that distraction, so I'm grateful for that. That's great. But, at least for me, I can still create problems when I have vacations. I can create up drama and all sorts of things because my mind is the cause. It's the culprit of all the problems. So if you get rid of all that stuff on the external, I can still create stuff to distract me from knowing who I am and from being grateful. So let us pray about this gratitude that we want to experience right now. Let us pray not to use any exertion of our self-will to experience intimacy with our Creator. We do not need to make things happen, but you do need to trust in what has already occurred. We pray to remember that we are not bodies but spirits. We ask to understand that everything is being sustained by the love of God. We have come here today to experience reality. We gratefully accept the curriculum to restore vision of Christ's kingdom. In gratitude we walk, in peace we breathe, in gentleness we speak, in joy we laugh, and in love we live as children of God. So this is how we demonstrate our lives to the world. When any conflict or adversary concern comes up in our lives, to demonstrate that we are children of God is the most helpful thing we can do. And I think it was just on Friday at one of the synagogues, they had a celebration in a prayer service to honor those that were killed and murdered in Pittsburgh. So they all got together. People from all faiths got there. And that's what unity, we honor all faiths here. Anyone, atheist, Buddhist, Hindu, Christian, all diversities. That's what it's because it's unity. And so does a lot of the Jewish faiths. Actually, that's where I got my ordination, was from a rabbi. He started a seminary in New York City, and that's what his motto was, never instead of, always in addition to. So you don't take away what you're doing, you add to it by honoring the other faiths. So that's what we do. We honor all this. We got to remove these differences. You know, the differences of people and our vision of others. We got to see the sameness in others as God sees us. It's the only way for heaven to be created on earth. It's through forgiveness and letting go of our judgments of others, no matter what they're doing. And this even means that person that shot them. You know, this means everyone. The only way is to extend love to whoever it is. This is the demonstration of Jesus. When he was attacked and crucified, he didn't take on the victim role and start attacking others when that was happening. He offered them forgiveness in the most extreme example. So we use these spiritual leaders as demonstrations. The Buddha, Krishna, Jesus, as demonstrations of the life we would like to live. And we can become successful in this if we listen to who we really are. Listen to the Spirit within. And that's what I'm defining success as, is your ability to listen and be willing and honest to act that out in the world. And being grateful. You got to take time out to just be grateful for your ability just to even listen to God. You know, because your mind, maybe for years, your mind's been so noisy and just so filled with all this fear and guilt and concern that you have a moment of being able to be still and be at peace and to listen to that. Wow, that's such a gift. I know that when I first felt that, when I was 19 years old, I was like, wow, I didn't know this was possible. This is so beautiful. And so I devoted my life to that. You know, that was the most important thing in my life, was listening to God and living that out in the world. Now, I still struggle with that at times. I'm not saying I'm perfect with that at all. But ultimately, who I am as a child of God is perfect. Who we are as spirit is perfect. God created us in her image as spiritual beings. And we can experience that here on earth as best as we'll allow it to come into our hearts and flow through us. So let's affirm that together right now. Let's affirm that we want to experience this reality together. And you got the affirmation with you. Say it together. I am grateful that God's will has already been accomplished. There is nothing I can do to add to what I already am. God created me as spirit, and I am blessed. I did not create myself. Therefore, no other outcome is possible for my life but peace, love, and joy. Now, that affirmation might be a little confusing to some. There can be no other outcome possible for my life, especially if most of the outcomes in your life have been in misery or sickness or conflict. Now, those are outcomes that we've created. Any outcome that I have in my life that's misery, sickness, even if I get a diagnosis and I'm sitting there feeling victimized because of my diagnosis or my sickness or my illness, okay, that's a part of it as well. I created my perception of how I'm seeing that. The illness in itself, we're not blaming ourselves for having that. It's how we see it. It's the meaning we give it. I've seen plenty of people, I've been a nurse for many years, that have serious terminal illnesses, they don't play the victim with it. You know, they embrace it and they use it as a healing mechanism for their lives and allow themselves to be transformed through it, and others get transformed. So it's how you see it. So that's what we're asking, to be shown the meaning behind the illness, the meaning behind everything that God has given us. And we can do this only by having direct experiences of who we really are, and then also sharing that with others. When we feel that love and we have that moment of gratitude and peace in our hearts, what do we want to do? We want to share it. We want to share it with others. When you feel this empowerment, what do you want to do? You want to call someone up and share it with them. I want to call my wife and talk to her about it. You know, I want to call my friends. I want to share it when we have these successes. And the successes are from listening to who we really are as spirit. And we can go through a lot of suffering in order to get to this point. A lot of suffering. And everyone's journey is different. Some it may take a long time, 60, 70, 80 years. I'm a member of AA, and there was plenty of people that got sober in their 70s. And the last 10 years of their lives, they were sober, and they said it was the happiest time of their life. So they let go of some of the stuff they did, the regrets, the hurts, all that stuff. They forgave that. It's like they had a rebirth there. And you can have many rebirths throughout your life. These different lives you live. You let go of the past, and you start creating this new adventure with the new people that are in your life. And you can do that really at any time you want. And we're all responsible for our decision to do that. Okay? There aren't things out there making us do things. That's the delusion, that's the illusion that we believe into. It's like a sleep. That I have to do this, I have to work at this job, I have to be in this relationship even though I'm suffering in it, and there's all these misery. I should. I should go to church even. You don't have to come to church. It's a voluntary thing. Everyone's welcome, everyone has free will. You don't have to do really anything. Okay? If you want to be happy, if you want to have peace, there's certain conditions you may want to honor in your life. You may not want to attack yourself. You may not want to get angry. You may not want to project the experiences and emotions you're experiencing onto others. That's helpful. Certain tools to practice. But you don't have to do any of it. This is what's beautiful about God's free will, is that no one has to do any of it. It's totally free. And everyone can enter into the light, into the peace, freely as well. It has to be a conscious choice that we make freely. And so when we're experiencing those things that block the peace, which we're reading about, there's things that block the peace of God, the gratitude from flowing through us, unforgiveness, those block it. Make a choice to consciously just be with it. And not to sedate it with anything like keeping busy, drugs, alcohol, relationships, certain hobbies, politics, all that stuff. It's crazy how many things you can just distract yourself from when you're feeling this pain inside. The way for me to tell if I want to distract myself is, can I sit down for a little bit and just be with myself? Can I do that? Can I just relax and just be there for a few minutes? If I can't do that, there's something going on inside me that I'm not looking at. I can't just be. And that's the value of meditation. The great value in us taking the time out each day just to be still and meditate and listen. Now the noise is probably still going to be there when we first practice meditation in the mind, and even years later. It's still going to be there at some level. But what ends up growing is your awareness of peace while you're being still. You start growing in your awareness of peace, so you just focus on the peace while the judgments are still there, while the distractions are still there, and you don't react to them. So you actually have the ability to do it. Initially, it's almost like without the awareness of who you really are as a child of God, it's like you can't even do it. I know when I was actively seeking out and doing drugs and drinking, it's like I could not do that. No matter how much people tried to get me to do it, how many counselors I saw, how much things I did, I couldn't do it. That awareness wasn't there. And I think this is what Jesus meant, is forgive them for they know not what they do. Because they don't know. They're in a place where they have no awareness. And so there's no real understanding of even guilt or fear or any of that stuff. There may be moments, but this is why we need each other, to remind us of who we really are. So let's do a little meditation right now. we close our eyes and get still, quiet. We're here to acknowledge who we really are. We don't need to name that, define it. All. Just observe any thoughts we have in our mind that are judgmental. Judging ourselves, others. That are limiting, thoughts of limitation. That we cannot experience peace in this area of our life. Just look at those thoughts. Maybe you want something from your life to occur. You want someone else to do something. Just look at those thoughts. Be present with them. Don't react to them. Let's make space for stillness to enter into this moment. The brightness of our consciousness that God created. We're creating an altar for the light to enter in our hearts. And if it's helpful for you, you can do the mantra, I am. And add grateful. And try to name things that you're grateful for no reason, purely just because you like them. You enjoy them. Relationships. Grateful for even the body. Grateful for the sense perceptions. The ability to think clearly. The ability to breathe. The ability to just feel this air and the people in this room next to me. Grateful for that. Whatever related thoughts you have with this gratitude practice. I am grateful. Spend some time on that. Tell yourself that you're grateful for being who you really are. As spirit, as child of God, as co-creator of the world you see, whatever language comes to you with that. For being love. For being free. This is ultimate gratitude. This is what will sustain our joy and happiness in this life. And encourage others to be who they are as well. You may even want to say a little prayer and send it out to someone that you think is struggling with something here. Being thankful to be able to be a part of their life as they go through that struggle. participating in the meditation. I've been feeling a lot of that lately, is holding people in my awareness, my consciousness with the peace. I'll think of them, and I'll just get real happy thinking about them. And then I'll run into them later. Sometimes like at the grocery store, or they'll come here, or they'll call. It's beautiful. We're all one. It's all one. I didn't get to read my lesson from the Course in Miracles. So I'm just going to read a couple paragraphs, because this lesson here is so beautiful when it comes to gratitude. Now just be aware that the language here is very masculine, father. You can interchange that with mother, creator, whatever you like. But the lesson is, I thank my Father for his gifts to me. Today, let us be thankful we have come to gentler pathways and to smoother roads. There is no thought of turning back and no implacable resistance to the truth. A bit of wavering remains, some small objections, and a little hesitation. But you can well be grateful for your gains, which are far greater than you realize. A day devoted now to gratitude will add the benefit of some insight into the real extent of all the gains which you have made, the gifts you've received. Be glad today in loving thankfulness your Father has not let you to yourself, nor let you wander in the dark alone. Be grateful he has saved you from yourself you thought you made to take place of him in his creation. Give him thanks today. Well, that's perfect. So that meditation, we opened up that altar to Spirit. And we can do that at any time throughout the day. Like, spend the time and just open up that space for Spirit to come in, which is actually outside of all this. So no matter what we're doing here on earth, we have access to that at any moment, and I am so grateful for that. I wouldn't be here today without that. I know that. I'm very thankful for you letting me be a part of this journey, Unity Church. It's just a beautiful adventure. Amen.